example 1 here on 4-6, these word problems slash, real life problems. Here we've got like a lighthouse and a guy in a boat. So in the diagram, a small fishing boat located at point A. So that's this guy. This guy's the fishing boat. You really don't need to label that, but. And the light tower, aka the lighthouse, is at point C. Self-explanatory. The angle of elevation, and this is the key word here, that angle of elevation, and again, you have to just read carefully what it says next. From the lighthouse to the boat is 27 degrees. So the angle of elevation from the lighthouse to the boat, or from the boat to the lighthouse, because again, we're looking up on that elevation, is going to be this angle right here. That is your 27 degrees. The angle of elevation from your lighthouse to your boat, or to your boat from your lighthouse. It can't be this angle up here, because that wouldn't be an angle of elevation. That would be an angle of depression because it's going down. Angle of elevation has to be going up, has to be looking up. And our other piece of information here is that the boat is 150 feet from the base of the lighthouse, which means that this distance here is 150 feet. How tall is the lighthouse to the nearest foot? So that's what they're asking me for. They're asking me for this lighthouse. So that's going to be my X question mark. That's the piece I don't know. All right, so I've labeled with my given and missing information. Now I need to go back through and label my sides of the triangle. What's opposite, what's hypotenuse, and so on. So here I can see my kind of right angle is right over here. So that tells me that my hypotenuse is over here. The angle that I'm using, or the angle they gave me to work with, was this 27. So opposite that is my X piece over here. And adjacent to that is that 150 feet. So now I'm going on to the next step, which is, given what I have here, what trig ratio do I need to use? I haven't been seeing many of you writing the acronym on your paper, which just keep in mind you might want to do. So in this problem, I'm given the adjacent and I'm looking for the opposite. So I'm going to be using the trig function that works with opposite and adjacent, which is tangent. So tangent of whatever angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. So tangent, the angle that I'm using here is 27, so I can fill that in. The opposite is my unknown X, and the adjacent is that 150 that I do know. So here, am I looking for a side or an angle? Well, the angle's filled in, so I'm looking for a side. Remember, if you're missing a side, you're going to be using that cross multiplication and your regular trig buttons in your calculator. Oops. So working out through my cross multiplication here, turning that into a fraction, X is equal to the tangent of 27 times 150. And this is where I can jump to my calculator. So again, if you're using like a middle school scientific calculator, the blue one, you don't need to be checking for degree mode because that doesn't have a different mode. But if you're using your 83 or your 84, your big graphing calculator, you want to go to mode first and see here, I have a red flag because I'm in radian. Notice how the radian's highlighted. So I need to move over, highlight degree, hit enter, so I'm in degree mode instead. So now I'm not finding the angle, so I'm not using those inverse tan. I'm just using tangent of 27 times 150. So remember, you're writing down 3 decimals and then, or 3 decimal places and just doing the dot, dot, dot and rounding appropriately afterwards. So 76.428. So X is equal to 76.428, double check, yes, dot, dot, dot. So now, last but not least, the lighthouse to the nearest foot, which would be 76, foot means whole number. So, just again, making sure that you're writing like a little answer sentence, because we're not just talking about side links anymore. We're talking about a distance. We're talking about how far or how tall this lighthouse is. So I'm going to answer sentence this. I don't really spatially things out very nicely. I'm going to scooch that over. Now I'm going to answer sentence this right here. So the lighthouse is 76 feet tall. Boom. Donezo.